My name's Jeff. Welcome to Versus Live.
Why write poetry?
Poem is done. Like, what was the point here? I also don't know where this poem is going.
Poetry's very love-hate.
The worst possible thing is them just saying no. Yo, what is up? Yo, it's Mathias. You already know. This is Geoff. Classic Geoff. Welcome to that Versus Live, man. It's another Tuesday. It is another day where I don't know if you've written poetry today, if you've thought about poetry today, if you've done any kind of poetry associated things, but we are still in National Poetry Month. And what was that, Geoff? Exactly. And I'm really excited. National Poetry Month, I think every year is an exciting time because you get to kind of see all the events and all the things that people kind of do for National Poetry Month. And I'm sure if you are a poet and you are a poet that is fairly active, then you probably got asked to do a gig or two or something like that. Let me know in the comments. Let me know if you're out there, if you're listening, if you're watching, if you've done any kind of poetry associated activities over the past 18 days of National Poetry Month. And what does National Poetry Month mean to you? What do you kind of take from National Poetry Month? So right now we're doing a little bit of a sound check, as you can see. So here's the thing that happened, everybody. So me and Geoff, we both do not have our regular mics, so we're using the handheld mics. And I actually like the feel of a handheld mic. I don't know if any of the performers out there, if you are a person that likes to get up on the mic and have the mic stand and kind of perform around it, or if you like to kind of go and have the handheld mic. I think sometimes when I'm just off the cuff having a conversation with the people out there, with you, my preciouses, I really like to have the handheld mic, and then that way it gives this hand or this one just something to do, right? Just something to be occupied with. But yeah, the other half of Diverses Live, he's doing the sound check. He's doing some sound checks, wanted to make sure that all the levels and stuff like that is cleared. And while he's gone, I wanted to get into some of the more controversial things around poetry that we typically can't go over because Geoff doesn't allow it. Very first and foremost, moon analogies. Why? Moon's not even all that special. You heard it here first. I don't believe that the moon is even that great. Are we sure it's even really there? I've seen the Truman Show. To me, it just seems like there's an open probability that the moon is just some orb that they put there so that they could kind of keep us all kind of trapped in here for this TV show. Finally, all the most controversial takes that I can possibly muster, all just in one platform. Okay, this is great. I don't know if there's the anti-moon shaming lobby. I just don't know. I don't know. The lunar cycles. Why is there a half moon? I think that's a different moon. I don't think it's the same one. That's just me. I'm gonna put that out there. I don't know if anybody out there looks at the sky sometimes and thinks to themselves, that seems different. We need to investigate that. So what was that? It's not letting me check. We have somebody on there, right?
Right. Hey, to our friend who's watching. Hi.
If you agree with me, seek help.
Actually, I met a flat earther.
You met a flat? Well, I'm not a flat earther. I'm just a no mooner. That's different.
Well, I don't think anyone should
those
go.
Those guys are pretty wild. I just don't believe the moon exists. So that's a little.
To our friend who's watching, if you could let us know if you're hearing mad feedback or audio issues
or happy feedback,
or
just slightly discontent feedback.
If you want to check, they left. They're just
oh, no.
I don't hear feedback. I just hear things I don't want
to hear. I'm just done listening altogether.
Okay. Let's just. Can you check on your phone by chance? Or you got the. All right. Well, we might just have to assume that everything is going.
We're just gonna assume
hunky dory.
Well, hold on. Can I check on here?
Actually, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
All right. While we're doing that, guys, morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time it is, thanks for your patience as we try to sort out our technical difficulties. As you can see, we both forgot our respective microphones. So I'm using like a PA microphone, and you're doing. That's actually a decent microphone. That's not a bad mic. But we apologize for any audio things that may arise as we go through today.
Just a small amount of technical difficulties, you know.
But anyways, Matthias, any poetry news before we get into our plan for today?
Any poetry news? Not particularly. I got a couple events coming up that I'm performing at, but nothing like.
Okay,
Actually, they're not even in April. Now that I think about it,
okay.
So let's forget about it.
Is there one in May?
It's in June. The first week in June. It's too far in the future to think about. I like to procrastinate.
What's the event name now?
It's for a college. It's not like a.
You're doing that at college?
It's not.
You're featuring at a college?
That's not.
A solo
like
show
that.
at a college? Oh
yeah,
my
it's
god!
Not. It's not. It's like
they're
on
paying
the campus.
$2,000.
Okay, Jeff. It's not. I don't think it's not at. It's not for the college, but it's like it's at.
It's against the college. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm against. Yes.
Yeah, you're teaching
because
about
what are you guys doing in there? Reading books?
Learn about the moon.
Get it together. Yeah, that thing. You know, they could just turn that off with one light switch.
All right. Well,
Yeah, I think it's
okay?
The feedback loop is just because it's hitting the mic.
Okay.
That's the reason for the feedback.
Okay.
But I think it's good.
By the way, so if you're watching this and you're hearing crazy feedback, let us know because we think everything's okay. We think we have it sorted, but you never know. But anyways, so Matthias.
Yeah.
Our goal for today is something we have not done together, you and I. We have never done this before.
Bare knuckle boxing?
There's apparently many things we've not done before. We're going to write a poem together.
Let's do it.
We're doing a collaboration poem.
Are we going to do like the echo effect?
What?
You know when they do the echo and like they both say the line at the same time and then everybody goes crazy.
No.
They both know.
We're definitely not doing that. Thank you to Mathias Jackson.
Oh wow. Thank you. That means a lot because I try my hardest to be, to be amazing and I sometimes I land it awesome, but this is good. That's nice.
And so we're not doing any echo effects despite all that. So if you can join me in the Google Doc, I will share my screen. We're going to write a poem together. I think that so I have a plan for this. We're going to start off in stages and then kind of build up. Okay.
That's good. So first of all, it's gonna be a group piece, or is it gonna be just a poem that we're writing together?
It's just a poem we're writing together.
So this is
then if it happens to be turned into a group piece,
we could do a group piece. Wouldn't you like to see a Mathias and Geoff group piece? That would be amazing.
Let us know in the chat or the comments if you want that.
Let us know.
I will also say my wife is very, very jealous of you because she has multiple times tried to write poems.
Really?
Me, and I'm like, normally it's not something I'm into, but
it's okay. So here's the thing: group pieces or writing poems with people. The thing that it kind of requires, and I think it's hard because I think I only have like 2 group pieces. And both of them are with Urema, and both of them are one
very interesting.
It's like it's so funny because it's like when we were first writing them, I was younger and I was much newer to the poetry community and much newer to just performing poems. I had written poems a lot, but like I was much newer to performing poems. And when he told me that kind of the essence of the poem, if you guys don't know, like Urema, he's a incredible poet, incredible performer, great friend, great community advocate. And the subject matter for the poem is essentially like kind of this story of this kid kind of growing up and getting all the life lessons of like drugs and all that and how like the American system and stuff like that. Essentially just imagine like Snowfall, but like the woke. I don't know. Did you watch Snowfall? You don't watch Snowfall. I knew it. He doesn't watch Snowfall. It's not. It's not at all. But yeah, but it's just so funny because like when we first wrote the poem, I kind of knew the vibes, but I didn't know like specifically
You didn't know the vibes,
I knew what the vibes were. I'm like, I get the vibes, but I didn't really know what the poem was about. And so it's so funny because I wrote to the poem. I end the poem, matter of fact. Actually, I open the poem and I end the poem. And when I tell you when we performed this poem for like over 3-4 years, we would go to different states. We would go on large shows. We would be just really performing this poem anywhere. And then at some time in like 3.5-4 years down the line, I'm just like, what does this mean? What exactly?
Like,
what exactly? Are because or like these parts of your poem mean? And explained it to me. And I'm like, and it still went. Clearly it still went well together. But I was just like, yeah, that's I didn't know that. Anyway, that's just a little story time. I really like story time when I'm like holding the mic. It feels like I'm doing like a stand-up set. What's the deal with coconuts?
All right.
Jerry
So our poem's gonna be like that.
What's the deal with
everything
poems?
you described? That's what this is gonna be like.
All right. So last week we had Chat GPT writing a poem.
Yes. So
now the other intelligence.
So we're gonna write the better poem, us or Chat GPT together, and you guys can let us know. You can watch the last stream where we tried our best to get Chat GPT to write a poem. Okay. So I thought maybe a good place to get started and just like grounded to get an idea of what we're actually maybe want to write about. I thought maybe it might be good to start with a haiku. And then we can evolve the haiku into a full poem.
Okay. That's fair.
Okay.
All right.
So, but in order to do that, let's make sure we're on the same page of what a haiku even is. So like if you had to describe haiku, what would you say? If you say what? 575,
I was gonna say 7. I was gonna say 17, but I was gonna say just like 17 syllables of the poem, and you can do the arrangement however you want, I suppose. But 17 syllables of a poem.
Okay.
Am I right? Am I wrong?
There's no right or wrong answer. I'm not attacking you. Like,
there's wrong answers.
I said
if I would have said a 13-page poem about rock monsters, like there's no right or wrong. But there is incredibly wrong, which that was.
One of my students a couple weeks ago was actually we did haikus, and I asked him what a haiku was, and he said, everyone says it's 575. No, what can be? But I think
it's a format.
So if we're going to go technical, it's like trying to copy Japanese structure, and Japanese doesn't operate on syllables alphabet. It's on, I forget what they're called, but it's like the closest thing the English has are syllables. So, okay. But the real goal is just trying to just be brief. You're just trying to copy the essence of something as quickly as possible. Okay. One thing that separates, like, just because you do like a 575, even if you did that's not even technically a haiku, because like a haiku usually you want to have like some sort of like season word. Like there should be one word in there that indicates the time of the year.
But I was thinking, because I was pulling like nature. I was thinking like nature-esque, but is the goal like seasonal?
So usually that season word is tied to nature.
Okay.
So usually, okay.
All right.
But if we don't have that, we don't have that. Like it's not a big deal.
But if we don't want to do that, it's like, whatever.
If you want to do it,
it's an absolute must, and it's a requirement in this field. Or not.
Yeah.
Or don't do it.
Okay. So we're gonna start. We're gonna write a haiku. We're gonna start with haiku and then see where this goes, and then, in theory, evolve this haiku into something.
Let's haiku it up
even bigger. All right. So
okay.
Let's maybe start with a season word. Like, what's the word that when you hear it, like, to give us some examples, like if you said ice, that would typically indicate like winter. If you said like a flower name, a lot of times that's like spring.
If you had said ice, I think I'm.
I think I pulled like
context.
General.
So like you said ice, and I'm like immediately I'm thinking like it's hot, so you'd want ice.
I mean, it can be. I mean, for sure, it can be. But like, for instance,
But but I
like,
guess if it's the subject, then like the
yeah.
ice. Is,
I mean,
okay.
you could also use like
That makes sense.
like you use like sweat, and like something that again indicates
Okay.
the time of the year. You know,
So you want to pick a season?
that's too on the nose. I want to give me a word that like evokes a time of the year for you. Even like it's like a certain food, like if there's a food you eat at a certain time of year, or like a type of bug, like for instance, like
funnel cake.
Okay, so funnel cake. I'm thinking like fairs, so like spring, summer.
Yeah, summer, summer and fall
summer,
because
right?
like the pumpkin festivals like in fall, right?
So even like pumpkin's a good word.
Pumpkin. Okay.
Okay, let's use pumpkin. All right. So I'm sharing my screen, right? You guys can see this. Okay. By the way, guys, if you have a favorite season word, let us know in the chat.
Yeah.
Write your own haikus with us. You can go with us too if you have suggestions. So
am I not
pumpkin.
am I not in this group? This one? Oh, there it is.
Pumpkin.
There's pumpkin.
Okay. I think another like key thing with haiku too is that usually like your first two lines are like building up to something, and then a lot of times your third line there's some sort of like surprise or twist or something, or like you have like two things that don't seem connected, and then your third line like draws it together. Like
okay.
Probably easier if I had an example, which I don't. And sometimes it can be the opposite too. Like your first line can change how you interpret the second two lines. Like one haiku I remember, it's not the exact haiku. It's the basic idea is beach. A dog fills the sky with seagulls. It's like something like that. So it's like, because like you need beach there to kind of piece together like what's it captures the scene. Because if you just get like the last two lines, like you kind of get it, but then like you add the beach and it changes everything. It's like, oh, now I'm like seeing the whole scene.
Okay.
And everything. You know what I mean?
Alrighty.
Yeah. So pumpkin.
There's fire behind the eyes.
Fire behind. Let's talk about the eyes a little bit. So what eyes of what? A person, an animal?
Well, I'm thinking like a jack-o'-lantern. Because it's a pumpkin. Right? You think?
Fire behind. Ooh, so what I'm kind of thinking is like I'd maybe even make pumpkin maybe like the last line. So for instance, like fire behind what are some how could you describe the eyes? Like fire behind like blank eyes.
Flicker of fire behind still eyes.
Or maybe just flickers. Look at that. Flickers behind
Carved eyes. I like that.
What is there more we can add here?
So how many we got right there? 6. Pumpkin. 8 with pumpkin.
I feel like what's the
Flickers behind carved eyes.
Like I feel like this is a good base, but it's missing that like I feel like a lot of times with haiku you need like that like aha moment, like aha, I get it.
Aha.
Oh wow, like oh wow,
I'm
like
Braxton
everything changes.
P.
Like,
Hartnebrick.
like what's this? I need like the surprise. Like I think it's kind of there because like you just see. Carved might even be too on the nose in a way because it like flickers behind. like I liked carved, but I think it you almost kind of want it to be like unrelated. You know, like it's too related. 'Cause you see carved and you think now
so it's no like shock.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
happens at the end because
it's too expected.
You kind of let them there.
Yeah. So I like it, like not for this poem.
Wait, but you didn't like fire behind the eyes?
So flickers behind the eyes are flat. I like flickers more than fires because I think flickers. I like fire. I don't necessarily get as much action, whereas like when you say flicker, I can see like I get a lot more movement.
Okay.
Personally, and I like that action more. It's also a more unusual word. Fire. I mean, there's like a billion. I guess fire. You know what I mean?
Right. So flickers behind.
Let's look at a picture of pumpkins. So maybe something will come to mind.
I actually have a phobia of pumpkins.
Oh,
I can't
You'll
look
love
at
this.
them in the eyes.
I'm excited for you. It's something like jack-o'-lanterns. Is copyright infringement if I do this? Is this?
It feels like copyright.
It feels
probably
like
not.
I don't know. It's fair use, maybe. That's a really good one. All my pumpkins, I like have great ambitions when I carve a pumpkin, and it just never.
I've never carved a jack-o'-lantern before. It's gonna take a second.
See, I know you say like I need to take out the delay, but I like the delay because it's like when is it gonna hit? When is it gonna hit? And then it hits, and you're like, okay.
Oh, there we are. Yeah,
oh, that's actually a really sweet one. Look at this. They have a pumpkin in the pumpkin. I like the meadow pumpkin. I like that.
Like it got ate by one pumpkin, and then it ate itself out.
Done did. Yeah. Like I even like these like really simple ones. Like is this mine?
No, that's the creepiest one.
That's the thing. Like it's like
because it's too simple. It's like, what is this guy thinking? Oh crap! Oh, go back up. Go. Look at that.
Great emotion. You know, one of the things I'm realizing about art and just a lot of things in life is it's not like technical ability and craft and things like that.
Yeah.
Are so overvalued by a lot of times artists, I feel, and not enough emphasis is actually placed on the emotion that you're left with.
Yeah,
like this is like for instance, we see like there's some very well crafted pumpkins here, but like this one is just there's so many more. Like it's a lot more emotional, I feel.
Yeah,
because you have to get the motion of the first pumpkin and the second.
Look at these. I like these eyes are the ones that really.
Yeah. You know, but also I think the mouth and like this is conveying a lot. It's a. I know nothing about pumpkin part carving, but this is speaking to me.
Let's carve some pumpkins next week, Jeff. instead of a show, we're just gonna sit down and we're just gonna be like, hey guys, we're just here to carve these pumpkins. I've got a butternut squash here.
Oh snap! Clorna has sent us a haiku. I'm gonna counter syllables. She did the thing.
What was that?
She wrote a haiku.
She wrote a haiku.
Yeah.
Haiku it up. Wait, hold on. So for the first one, so you really need to carve a pumpkin.
No, like as in you really need to carve a pumpkin.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
no, I'm reading that, but I know. Yeah.
She's talking to you, Mathias.
No, this is part of her poem. You really need to carve a pumpkin. Get your hands nice and slimy.
If I had a nickel for every time I heard
that. Jesus Christ. Get your hands nice and slimy. Haikus are easier when you work alone.
Facts. I mean, I think poems in general are easier when you work alone. This is part of the challenge of the day.
Sitting in there like,
and we tried to write a poem with my wife. I'm sorry, Kathy, if you're watching.
Dang it.
It's hard.
We have a haiku. So you want to read the haiku?
Sorry, I don't know how hot this mic is. That might have been really unsettling. Dogwood trees flower, rain, wind, and sirens blaring. Ohio has sprung.
Sprung.
Okay, I like your seasoned words. I don't like your 5'7". No, I was kidding.
I need to see the line differential now.
Glenn is sending you some reading instructions.
I knew that. I was just reading the first part, and then Jeff wanted to make it seem like that I didn't know, so I then had to read it like a poem.
Because you're reading it like you really need to carve.
I was reading it like I meant. Like I was reading it like I had some, I had some authority.
Which you don't.
You're so right.
Dogwood trees, flower, rain, wind, and sirens. The sirens is really catching me. I'm not gonna lie. I feel
The
triggered.
sirens part? It's like
Rain, wind, and sirens. Because everything else is so, there's so much in this poem. Because like pretty much the only thing that's unnatural in the poem is the sirens, which is kind of
in Ohio.
I mean, yeah, but
It's like a place.
yeah,
That's not like
Yeah.
that's not nature. It's just where we
But,
are. That's
but you know,
geography.
sirens, like there's something very unsettling because there's so much. Again, like it's natural sirens. Like that to me, that's very unsettling.
So is dogwood anything like barking up the wrong tree?
I'm not. I'll give you that,
Oh.
but not happy about
You
it.
guys heard that. That was solid. That was solid, guys. All right. Good night.
I'm gonna have to end the stream. The sirens is really. I'm kind of like the sirens and then the blaring after it. That's very strong. I like the auditory aspect of that too.
Yeah.
I
mean, it takes up a fair amount of the poem to be like, okay, this is the only thing. But it's like, it's and sirens blaring. That's four of the syllables, and that's not even if you count Ohio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like it.
Good job, Clinda.
Thank you, Clinda.
Thanks for sharing your haiku.
Yeah. I can't hear it now, so I just have to trust that the sound effect is giving you the accolades that you deserve.
But we're actually doing this because we're trying to. Okay, let's look at like the eyes of the pumpkin and see if you get ideas for descriptions. Pointy is one word that kind of comes to mind. Jagged. Ooh, that could be. Flickers behind. Jagged eyes. Pumpkin. Oh, you know what? I have another idea. I'm not even going to use pumpkin. I'll maybe start October.
October flickers behind jagged eyes. October flickers behind.
Another option too. I think if we did something like this instead of jagged, we'd also use carved. Carved could work now. I think
I like jagged more than I think
carved.
Jagged
is more interesting. Yeah. But then the question is this strong enough to suggest? Do you think someone would understand? They would see like pumpkins with this. Oh, how about if I add? I think this would also be striking. I'm doing all the work here, man.
What about beneath? Flickers beneath orange. I don't know about orange.
Because to me, that's that's very unexpected. Like flickers behind orange. Like what? But that was just my idea.
October flickers behind jagged eyes. October flickers.
The way instead of seeing is like, I think another thing too with haiku is a lot of times the lines are it's not like a poem in that like you're reading from line to line to line. Like each line's kind of independent.
Yeah.
Like October flickers behind jagged eyes. Right in October flickers behind jagged eyes.
October flickers behind jagged eyes. Slow drying.
Some of the other options that are kind of jumping out to me, like adding another adjective before jagged.
Maybe like
Or again, a color, maybe a color before flickers.
A slow drying from within. A slow drying from within. A slow.
You don't have to tell me about your emotional state, man.
But that's like, I don't know. I think it's an interesting like packaging of words. A slow drying from within. A slow drying from within.
Where do you want me to put that? Where do you think of that? Or is
Right,
that
right there, yeah. So like
here?
a slow drying. Yep. So October flickers from behind. Slow drying from within.
You know what? I think you've done it. I would say. I think this is the haiku, and now I think we're branching into the bigger poem. I think we're digging deeper.
Wait, what's a haiku? That's not enough for a haiku though.
Why not?
But this is the top part.
100%.
How?
Debate me. Fight
October flickers.
Are you going for 575? You're doing the thing. You're doing the thing. I told you.
No, I'm not going for 575. I'm going for 17. I thought it was 17. So you're saying, forget all the rules.
Yes.
Forget all the conventions. Yes. This isn't even a poetry podcast. This is just us just sitting 100%, around with these Bluetooth headphones
100%,
and this light.
100%. 100%.
Okay, cool.
Burn everything.
Good. Now I can get back to my other ideas. Also, what's in the center of the moon? Nothing. Production tools.
You're not even on camera. Get over here.
I'm not on camera?
Get in frame. Not even on camera.
Geoff wanted you to get my face as I gave my controversial tips.
Okay. But I mean, I'm happy to add more syllables if you'd like, but
October flickers behind jagged eyes. October flickers behind jagged eyes.
Another thing too is like I like what you were. Oh, where did it go? I still have it down, so we can go back. Like jagged eyes. Another thing I was thinking is maybe like fresh, sliced, cut. It's a good like verb.
Flickers behind. Yeah, I don't think I like fresh eyes.
Like old eyes?
Flickers behind.
But again, I was imagining like an adjective after it, but like fresh. It's not stitched.
Emptied.
Ooh, even just empty.
Freshly emptied eyes.
Even just like I like empty more than freshly empty.
I like freshly emptied.
I think this is actually very striking.
Flickers behind empty eyes.
Because that kind of gives the sense of like someone like glazed over, but then like you're kind of seeing like life kind of a little bit.
Okay.
Kind of like someone's in like a drugged out state or something.
Wait, Clorinda's
coming to our rescue.
Added some. Let's see. October's jagged smile flickers behind a slow drying inside.
I don't know if the comments to do this. I would like to see line break, like what it would look like vertically. October's jagged smile flickers behind a slow drying inside.
A slow drying inside. I'm Morgan Freeman.
I'd maybe even take off slow. Like a drying inside.
Yeah, I like the drying inside.
That feels a lot more. It puts me there more in a lot of ways. It's kind of gross, but in a good way. It's a good gross.
Nah, I like the empty eyes.
She likes the empty eyes better. Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. But my only question with this is there enough to insinuate? Like, if someone reads this, is this enough to imply a pumpkin? Like, are people there?
October flickers behind empty eyes.
Like, I feel like it's like 90, like 95% of the way there, but I feel like it's missing like one thing. You know what I mean? Is that just me? It might just be me. All right, let's do this. Besides, I'm gonna give you ownership. Whatever you decide, I will roll with 100%.
I say, let's sleep on it.
All right,
That was a community
guys,
reference.
Oh, the stream continues. Never mind, the stream goes on.
Good night, everybody. Yeah, October flickers behind empty eyes.
It's missing like one thing. It's like so close, but it's. See, this is like normally if I reach this point in a poem, like, because you can't force it. You know what I mean? You can't force it. So it's like I'll sit for like 5, 10, 15 minutes, and if nothing comes, I'll be like, all right, we'll try again tomorrow. And if I'll sit again for like 15 minutes, if nothing comes, I'll be like, all right, well, you just keep showing up. Clarenda says she definitely gets Halloween, but I appreciate you saying that. I'm nervous that we're biased though because we're in this discussion.
Because we know, you know what I mean. Like we have to like delete what we already know about the conversation we're having. Like let's just say we just sat down and we're like, October. Oh, I don't know, maybe because maybe October sets the tone. Maybe October sets the tone somewhat. So then you say flickers behind empty eyes. I think the empty eyes gives me the jack-o'-lantern that I didn't have before, because now I'm saying
that's your
flickers
aha
behind.
moment, you know? Yeah. So that's what I was like, because like Halloween would be too on the nose. You know what I mean? It's too neat, and I don't want to do that. But I was hoping that October, because like when you hear October, what do you think of? The holiday wise, the only one there's Halloween, fall. Right? Or fall, yeah. So that's why I said October. So I was hoping October is strong enough, but I don't know. You want to roll with it? You want to think it's strong enough, or is there something you want to add?
I mean, if we're just disregarding all the conventions that I thought about poems before, I think so. Yeah, I think this is good.
Okay, let's keep this. Let's keep this, and then let's do one your way. Let's do this. So we'll keep this. This is our safe version. Mathias is now. We're now going to work towards our. How many syllables you want? You want your 17 syllables?
No, I mean not necessarily.
Okay.
Okay, let's see.
16's cool too.
Let's just go 35 syllables just to be safe.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. October flickers behind empty. Wait, why do I keep doing this?
I did one like I made a original.
This is
yeah.
You're doing the second one. Okay,
yeah.
got you.
Yeah.
October flickers behind empty eyes.
And she thinks Halloween. Thank you, Clarenda. Clarenda's a boss. Clarenda, I appreciate that you're being here.
It says
one thing I think about too when I'm doing
go ahead
poems is I also think about how many senses am I involving. So right now we're going pretty heavy on the visual.
I might go October dances behind hollow eyes.
That's interesting you said hollow because I was also thinking of that for the earlier one. But what dances? So October dances.
Because then I think the aha moment still is the same moment because like October dances behind hollow eyes. Now, when I say hollow eyes, I'm brought back to October, and then maybe Halloween, but maybe not. But hollow eyes, I'm thinking jack-o'-lantern, and then in retrospect, what's dancing behind the eyes of the jack-o'-lantern? Oh, fire's dancing behind the eyes, and so it's this thing that's dancing behind the eyes.
So the thing that makes me nervous is that I feel like I have to make a lot more leaps. Like I think it all depends on who your audience is, because I think it's like in the first one, October sets the stage. Flickers, you get like, for instance, like the concrete physical thing. Like I feel more grounded. Whereas, and then the empty eyes, I kind of need to figure out as a reader. That's the part that I need to. That's kind of the puzzle part for me.
October dances
And
behind
then
Hollow.
here for October, dances behind Hollow Eyes. I feel like I'm being given a lot more work to do. I need to figure out the dancing because so dances. Okay, well, originally when I was reading it, I'm thinking dances as a verb. So I imagine something is dancing. And then
That was a bad idea.
logically, the thing that would be there would be October. Okay, so October is doing the dancing. But what's in October that would dance? That's just kind of like talk you through like what I'm thinking of when I'm reading this. And then I get down to the Hollow Eyes part, and now I need to also figure out I feel like I'm being asked to do a lot of work, and I feel like I can interpret it many different ways. I don't know if I'm interpreting it the way that was intended. Conversely, I could also see dances being used as a noun, so like instead of being like October separate dances behind, so like just like dance as a noun. Like there's different dances that are happening behind Hollow Eyes. I just don't feel as grounded though in this version here. Does that make sense? Do I even make sense? Am I even speaking?
Yeah, no,
English,
I mean,
people?
I follow you. I think when I'm approaching, and I don't write haikus incredibly often, but when I'm approaching poems just in general, I think I have a little bit of a different. I don't think I have a as discernible of an entry point as you. You know what I mean? Like as far as like I think you have like kind of some clear kind of outlines or maybe some clear objectives, like even in like kind of like the beginning stages. I think I'm just kind of winging it. You know,
I think
more
I'm
or
the right
less.
documents behind yours. Can you refresh your page? Let's see if it loads. So I think the part for here that I get a little lost on is October and then dances. Oh, there we go. I need to do it. It's not you. It's me. It's me. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. That's interesting with dying. I kind of like dying like before eyes, like dances behind dying eyes or something. That sounds very emo.
October carved out a dying, dances behind hollow eyes. Carved out a dying, dances behind.
When you see dances, are you thinking noun or verb?
I guess it could be either, but I'm thinking verb.
That's because that's my first thought is verb. So then my question is: so, are we viewing October as being the thing that dances, or something else? That's the thing that's kind of tripped me out right now.
October carved out a dying, dances beneath hollow eyes.
If you make a change, let me know because I had to record, so we keep it fresh.
You good?
I think it's okay.
Oh, is yours the same as my? Yeah, it's the same.
Okay.
So, I think in the sense that it's the fire that dances on a technical level.
So then, okay. So that's kind of what I'm assuming, but again, that's also based on our discussion right now.
But it's also kind of like in the ethereal, like, you know, the fire maybe meaning death. And so even though like I would categorize fire as being alive, but also fire symbolically kind of, you know, being able to be tied to, you know, you can go like hellfire, you can go just like fire, kind of a destruction thing. So it's like October carved out a dying. So now you have carved. It maybe it's somewhat. Maybe it's not dragging you contextually directly to jack-o'-lantern yet, which might be good, right? For the stick.
Carved might be strong enough to do that. I don't.
Yeah, but it's
Mhm.
you think October carved out
October and carved. I think if I see those two words together, I feel like I'm being drawn to like pumpkins in some way.
Okay, well, that's fair.
I mean, I guess it could be like carving meat or something, but I feel like the most natural connection,
Most
with
practical,
October and
yeah.
carving is probably pumpkins. So I'm with that.
But
I'm with
it's
that
not
leap.
like screaming at you though.
No.
It's like it's somewhat
No.
subtle at least.
But I mean, you need it to be something though, because otherwise you're just kind of lost.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Say October carved out a dying dances beneath hollow eyes, dance beneath a.
I think I'm still struggling with dances.
I
don't know if I would arrive
like
at the flames.
I think a dance carved out a dying, a dance beneath hollow eyes.
See, personally, I would like this more as if it were just like October, a dance beneath hollow eyes. To me, that's a little bit more.
I don't know, because I like
You want that,
carved out a dying. It's like you get. I think again, you
Talk
get
to me, yeah.
you get the links, you get the the tether between. If the goal is to really kind of have like a really strong tether between the seasons and having the language that kind of embodies that. So now you have carved out a dying, and I think kind of the irony of you are personifying what is pumpkin? Is it a vegetable? It seems like a vegetable.
It's a gourd.
Gourd. Okay.
But are gourds vegetables? Now that's the question.
Yeah. So
Clorinda,
you're giving us more questions than answers. But yeah, so it's you're personifying a gourd, vegetable or fruit, nondescript, but you're carving out a gourd and you're personifying it, making it into or resemble something or giving it features of personhood. And ironically, the thing that you're doing in that is killing it.
Okay.
Which is carved out a dying. And then it's like, okay, like, you can raise the stakes of what you're thinking in, I think, out of that line alone. But then the next line, a dance beneath hollow eyes. And as soon as you get the hollow eyes, now you're drawn right back to pumpkin.
Okay.
Or you're drawn right back to jack-o'-lantern. What are you thinking?
What am I thinking? I'm thinking that. So that was interesting hearing your explanation. I think the biggest difference between the top one and the bottom one, based on what you said. Also, I want to just hang on to that for a moment. That's your cliffhanger. Clearing the notes. Fire is also nurturing. I like the ending of this. It provides warmth that allows us to get through the winter, and it makes meat safe to eat. I would not have arrived at that second point actually from that first point, but all true.
Fair enough. Nah, all correct information. That's real.
I can't help reading this like a really happy, cheerful thing.
Yeah,
Fire is nurturing. It provides warmth.
We're just gonna find out like Clorinda's like involved in like an arson spree. Just like fire is nurturing.
Someone burned our house at the largest barbecue in town.
It makes it safe to eat.
Our couch made the ribs taste better.
It's so specific.
Like with the arson stuff.
Yeah, that was like, you just went into like full episodic. Like,
I was there.
You did the voice.
Clearly, you may not want it to, but you put me there.
You might not have wanted to know this much about Geoff on this episode, but just know there's a lot underneath the surface here.
Okay, but I left us on a cliffhanger. Clorinda is very safe with the fire as she starts. I am not. I don't.
It's safe for me. That's for sure. I get out of there.
I have left my arson phase behind me.
the, and the investigation begins.
So I think the biggest difference between the first two poems, like the top poem and the second poem, is I feel like the first one is putting me in a single moment,
Okay.
and the second one is putting me in like almost 2 moments.
How so?
Because I have to piece together. I have to figure out that carved out a dying thing, and then I also need to get to the dance and the hollow eyes part. Like, to me, the first 2 lines are connected with the second 2 lines, but I also need to solve the first 2 lines before I can get to the second 2 lines.
You see, I don't know. I hear that, and maybe carve that in there. So I look at it like this. So like carved is already past tense, and so I think the moment that I'm placing you in is somebody who is looking at the carving as past tense,
or as just an adjective. Because maybe it's just you're just describing something that's been carved out, right?
I mean, either way,
Okay,
but it's still. I mean,
okay.
you're
But
still, you know,
something
it's still,
happened-
yeah,
something
it's
happened in the
still,
past.
it's
Okay,
still
I'm
in
with
the
you. Okay.
right.
Okay.
And then a dance beneath hollow eyes. So I think it's
What's dancing? So I feel like I'm trying to. All right.
okay.
When I like, especially like with my own poems, it's super hard. Obviously, it's not possible to do it, but I try my best to approach it from a stance of like, someone comes to the poem, someone's arriving at this with no prior knowledge. They're just just turn a page and they see this. And for me, I don't know. Oh my gosh, sorry. I don't the dance part. So it seems like you're there's lots of associations with the dance and like the flames or the fire inside the pumpkin. Fair?
Or like the imagery that it's invoking.
Like, am I supposed to associate the dance with the flame or the fire? Or it's just people? Am I supposed to associate it with people dancing? Am I supposed to associate it with?
Well, I mean, it's a dance beneath hollow eyes, and so it's just like you said. So if you're already thinking jack-o'-lantern from October and carved, so you're already at the very least somewhat there. Or at least you think you're somewhat there. And then a dance beneath. Now I might be thinking, maybe I don't know where the dance is coming from or what is happening with the dance or what the dance exactly is until the third line where you're brought back to hollow eyes, which in my opinion is generates that tether between these 2 lines, which makes a dance beneath me like, oh, like as we're watching the jack-o'-lantern, this flickering or dance of the flames.
I want to try something. This is gonna be wild. Ready for
I'm gonna try something. I'm just gonna delete your poem. Let's see how that. Yeah. Ooh, this is good.
What do you think of this?
Let's see. October. Carved out a dying, hollow eyes, a dance beneath.
And maybe take out the article. What do you think of this? Am I taking away the essence?
It feels like the essence is gone. Yeah, I don't know.
You're not feeling that.
I think absolutely the article, like leaving carved out a dying. I think that's important.
This feels like a darling to me. I'm not gonna lie, Mathias, but all right.
Wait a minute. Hold on, people. Because at the beginning of this, Geoff was like, all right, Mathias, you're gonna write this poem. And then like afterwards, Geoff is like, it seems like it's important to you. It seems
both
like
things
you really
can be true. No, I'm saying.
Oh man, I don't know.
Okay. We'll roll with this.
Beneath hollow. Yeah, I like it, like a dance, because I think they both kind of operate in the same realm.
Okay.
Especially if you're switching a dance beneath and hollow eyes, I think they operate in the same realm.
Okay.
But I like the idea of having the mystery and then having
Okay.
this like where the maybe you thought you figured out a little bit of mystery, and then this fourth line image brings you back to the answer that you already knew, or it confirms the answer that you thought you might have known.
So for me, it's that same line that to me is the most difficult. The carved out of dying is difficult for me. You are challenging me, in a good way. Carved out a dying. So when you say that, talk me through. And I know, like, normally, like when we're writing poems, we're not like explaining things, and like it's just it's open interpretation. Like, no, let's not. I want talk me through what comes to mind when you came up with this line, and when you're just thinking about it right now.
So here's what I think. So it's like I'm trying to think of a good analogy. It's like if you're like watching a movie, and the first time you watch the movie, you think of like somebody says a line, right? And they say that line, and it's a very specific line. And that line that you heard, because maybe the natural way to think about the line is one direction. You're like, oh, I know what the rest of this movie or the rest of these characters' motivations or what have you are going to lead to. But then a twist happens in the movie that makes you reconsider the context that you heard the line in. So October carved out a dying. So like now if you're thinking about it as past tense, and you're thinking about it as something that you did or something that has already happened, carved out a dying. So now I think there's like some mystery in what carved out a dying looks like, or what carved out a dying means. That's not like a direct.
It's an interesting turn of
analogy.
phrase. It's not it's not something you think of.
It's not, and it's not something that's very. I think maybe it's been heard, but it's like it's making you do some work.
It's making me do
for
work.
it. And then the third line, so a dance beneath. Now it's a cart. Now you're taking these two out, carved out a dying, a dance beneath. So it's like somewhat seemingly separate visuals, and they're separate enough to. Are we like diagonal in this?
We I was actually going to raise that anyways, although I think the ship is slowly capsizing. Hey guys, we don't make it to our lifeboats.
But I think if you just take those two lines and you kind of separate them from everything else, it's an odd juxtaposition of lines.
It is,
because it's like you don't really know. But I think the context of October and Hollow Eyes give you. So if you take those two out, carved out a dying, a dancing beneath, you're not going to get anything with regards to.
You are very true.
Autumn, fall, jack-o'-lanterns, anything. Yeah. But the context of October, Hollow Eyes, now everything is. I mean, at least for me, now it's like, carved out a dying, like you're carving out jack-o'-lanterns, maybe headless horseman kind of visuals, imagery. Headless horseman, he's a killer, he's a murderer, dying, death. You're getting all those images now. Dying, death, Halloween, jack-o'-lantern, October. That's all associated. Hollow Eyes. That's confirming all the associations.
Well, guys, it officially happened. By the way, I knew it was going to happen halfway through the stream. I knew it was going to happen.
That's fun. That's nice. That might as well happen.
Cluner makes an interesting point that I do want to bring up soon. I think the thing for me is dying is so unexpected. And I'm really, from a reader's perspective, I'm really trying to fit it in so many ways, because
just like jack-o'-lanterns are, they're supposed to be unexpected.
Unexpected jack-o'-lanterns? That was a thing? I've never been like, jack-o'-lantern. Like, what?
That's what the point is. Like, you're supposed to be like, oh, it's a jack-o'-lantern. Are they supposed to scare you?
They're supposed to scare spirits, right?
Are they?
I think that's the original.
I didn't celebrate Halloween growing up, so I don't know.
I don't. I think
These are all new
anyways,
things to me. I thought jack-o'-lanterns were a naturally occurring phenomenon. It just grew like that.
So for me, like trying to figure out dying, because like I'm expecting a noun after it. Like it's not, dying isn't a word that you often see, because especially with you have the in front of it, so it's like a dying what, you know. But then it's like, oh, I'm supposed to treat this dying as a noun,
Carved out a
but
dying,
but then like. But then it's almost like, okay, so like kind of like the closest noun form would what be like death would be your traditional noun, like carved out it. But that's
too traditional. It's too
right.
It's too
on the nose. I understand.
It fits exactly what your ears want to happen right there.
So when Clorinda has raised, this is not me. This is Clorinda. This is Clorinda. If you take out the second it makes it seem as if the flames are dying. Not sure if that's the intention or not, but let's look at that. It's like carved out a dying dance beneath hollow eyes. How do you feel about this?
Yeah, no,
you really,
I don't know.
Articles, okay. I have another option for you. Hang on, I get your thoughts on this. Hang on. Damn.
October, hollow eyes, carved out a dance beneath. Yeah, I don't know.
Probably wouldn't need that.
I'm telling you, it's the mystery that is being added by carved out a dying. Again, it's a
okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's okay. I was just floating ideas. Just one of your thoughts.
That's how Geoff edits poems. He's just like, yeah, let me float some ideas.
Well, yeah, 100%.
Your poem's stupid.
I would never say that to your face. I would never say that.
This is what I really found really interesting about your poem, and like now, and this is kind of when I'm reading your poem. This is kind of what I'm feeling. It's like, how is it so dumb? Let's get into.
No, but I really want to find out why.
Why would you do that? Have you ever thought about maybe getting into like a different hobby? Pottery, maybe. It's your thing, because this is not for you.
What
I don't know. I like the.
No, I'm not opposed to it.
Okay.
Again, the dying is making me work, but again, it's not something I am opposed to. I just wanted to get your thoughts on those different constructions, but you feel like they're really taken away, and that's okay. That's fine. That's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I know it's okay. You're the one. I'm like, yeah, no, I really like it. Jeff's like, no, I don't know about that. It's okay, man.
Okay.
Just let it go.
So another thing, and we just talked about this earlier, like,
yeah.
Again, like, you know, we spend a lot of time talking about craft, but like a lot of ways the emotion behind what you're leaving your reader or your viewer or whatever you're doing, seriously, whatever you're doing, like, this isn't just art, this is like even like work, and like this is like anything you do, the way it makes other people feel is what they're going to remember. They're not necessarily going to, and this is I think it also enters into interesting debates about quality. Like, is the quality the craft of something, or like you know, if someone leaves something and they feel it was really valuable, even if it didn't necessarily like take a long time to do, like what has higher quality? Like, this is kind of trouble with quality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, because I think a lot of times it can lead people that are very insistent on craft, which I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, that's not a bad thing necessarily. But if somebody else were to create something that you think craft-wise holds little weight, but impact-wise to the reader, maybe, and maybe like the best sample size would be like the same readership between the two. If somebody else were to like, what the thing that I left with from this work was more impactful to me, it's like, okay, so like which one which one would you rather be? Would you rather
Yeah.
be the person that wrote something that you feel is very high quality, penmanship, or would you rather be the person that created something that people actually resonates with people?
Yeah. And I think in the past I would have opted for the.
I guess you could to be clear, you could be both. Like, you know what I mean? Both are,
Yeah.
and both is more, I think it's more likely to be like the symbiosis between the two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. I think the thing is that sometimes it can feel like someone that you wouldn't necessarily feel has the elements of craft that you're looking for is able to find success, and it almost feels, I won't say like lucky or things like that, but like you kind of like I feel like it can be missing an element where like I feel like the person that like goes hardcore into craft is not fully understanding that. I wish that someone had told me these arguments about emotion and things like that with work years ago, because these are things that I feel like I've only really come into within the last couple of years. Whereas like if someone had told me this, when I first started writing, I mean, that would have been really helpful. Considering how your work makes other people feel. But all that to say, let's just kind of talk about what emotions we're getting.
Okay.
So like, for instance, the first one, it's like October, flickers behind empty eyes. To me, it feels unsettling in a good way.
Yeah, I think it, to me, it feels like a static place of being, because it doesn't feel like that something is moving forward as much as, or it doesn't feel like a progression or a degradation.
No,
in
it feels
any
like a
way.
single moment.
It feels like this thing is happening.
It feels like a single moment where a speaker just came to like a very sudden realization, like
yeah.
That's what I get from that. And the realization to me that they come to is slightly kind of disturbing in a way, but in a good way.
Yeah, I can get that.
It feels like kind of like watching it. Yeah, exactly. It's the empty.
Yeah,
but it's also it's the contrast between the flickers and then the empty. It's that kind of dichotomy going on.
Okay,
that I think is working.
Yeah.
Other thoughts on the first one?
No, just that. No, I think that like the thing that happens, I think for me in my head when I read it, is more of a. It feels like if I'm shutting my eyes and like I'm kind of alone in a room, watching this, like maybe like a little diorama, like this exact moment that I can hold and pick up and be like, okay, I can explain to you the thing that happened right here. So yeah.
What emotions do you get from the second one?
I think in entropy. So I think maybe, because I think the thing that I'm thinking is carved out when I get carved out a dying. So instead of a death, because a death to me would be the static, like that's the form of being. That's like the death, like it's death. But form that a dying. So like this thing, it's
still
dying,
alive, but in the progress,
it's happening.
Has that movement.
So I think it invokes maybe like a progression or an entropy that's taking place, and then it's like this dance beneath hollow eye. So it's like it's a dance, and so it's this movement, but it's beneath hollow eyes, which brings me back to the death, that the fact that it's the death is happening on a scale. It's not happened, the death is happening. And because I think hollow eyes, if somebody says hollow eyes, like maybe they think about it emotionally, but I think the greater analogous is like this, like hollow eyes, are like somebody with hollow eyes are typically resonating with some kind of like death imagery or sigil.
Kind of sickly, sad, morose kind of heaviness to it. I would agree with that. I think the word that is standing out to me the most is dance, and I think it's because it's kind of sandwiched in between the dying and the hollow. Because it's such a happy idea, like happy, cheerful, like just like if you just see dance by itself, like to me, it kind of conveys more of a sense of like euphoria, joy, and then to have it between those two things, like that contrast makes it more striking.
Yeah, but I think the dance I think that dance is very contextual.
I think Clorinda's with me, by the way. Second poem, I get a pagan celebration. It's because of dance. Clorinda's because of
yeah,
but
dance. But that's what I'm saying. So like, it's content. Yeah, but me and you are like we're on the same page, Clorinda. So it's contextual in that the dance is not necessarily happy or gleeful. Maybe it's an obligatory,
like ritualistic kind of
within the ritual. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's not necessarily like, oh man, this is the greatest time of my life. Like maybe it's a part of the regimen that we are in.
I don't know. I don't disagree with when you explain it that way. I don't know if I would arrive there on my own.
That's fair.
Like,
and I don't think that's necessarily a place to arrive at necessarily as much as I think it's a valid directionality for your thought to go in, which I guess anyone is valid, but
some more than others.
Was that Animal Farm? Like some are more equal than others.
All right. Well, I thought we were going to write like a longer poem, but we got 2 haikus. Which we'll take it. We'll take it.
Yeah.
If you were watching this and you wrote your own haiku, Clorinda did. Let's
Clorinda wrote a haiku before any of us wrote haikus.
She was giving all kinds of suggestions. She wrote more than we did today.
Yeah.
Dogwood trees flower, rain, wind, and sirens blaring. Ohio has sprung. That sirens blaring is just so, because like it sounds really like dogwood trees flower, nice, rain, wind, yes, and sirens blaring. Ohio, like there's like an irony in there.
I don't know, for allergy sufferers. My wife, she like suffers from a lot of allergy. The dogwood trees flower. It's not.
It was not.
It's
a good
not.
week
It's not okay.
Not a good week.
Shout out to Ajane.
Yeah.
This is probably
April's
at home.
the cruelest month.
Yeah. Rough times.
Yeah. All right. On
I
that
get
note,
flowery and happy. April's the cruelest month. It's horrible.
But then, like the irony, like Ohio is like it sounds very sarcastic, especially after like the sirens blaring. I feel like there could be like a little edge to it.
But it's like, I think, and maybe I'm just more grim. Maybe I'm grimmer than I lead on to be, or maybe that's like having like a funny disposition.
Just like Dad.
If I met him. Do you see how I take it?
See
Even
how
the
I
worst
am?
thing is
I'm just like him.
just stab it in the back. But yeah, no, I think like the thought process of like Ohio has sprung, like even that is like I'm connecting that with sirens blaring,
exactly.
And I'm thinking like this is not positive at all.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. Yeah.
Everyone should be a little dark. That's fair.
You didn't read that right. Everyone should be a little dark. Everyone should be. That's like the Batman in the cartoon. Everyone should be a little dark. Be like everyone should be a little dark. That's Heath Ledger is the best one. I didn't see that until you said it, and then like when you said the Heath, I was like, oh, now I see it. Yeah.
You saw it.
I did not.
There's no way you didn't see it.
No, I saw it like in terms of how you said it. Like I wouldn't have pieced that as Heath Ledger.
You wouldn't have pieced that as Heath Ledger.
I wouldn't have.
Who would you have thought that was?
Just a bad impersonation. But then when you said it, and then I put it together. Like, oh, you know what?
You know what that is? That's actually is.
It wasn't that bad. Yeah.
My father was a drinker and a fiend. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things that when you see it, you can't unsee it
You can't unsee things
or unhear them.
or untaste them.
I'm gonna end the stream. Clorinda, thank you for joining us.
Thank
tonight.
you, Clorinda.
It's always good to
Can
see
we
you.
clap it up? Where's the clap?
Don't choose the wrong one. Oh, you
no,
want to
it's
like
both
and
of us.
sub?
Thank you.
Be sure to like and
Well,
sub.
be sure to like and sub.
That's helpful.
But then do a little. But then question. Just a little bit of that. Just sprinkle that on top.
Yeah.
But yeah, make sure you like and subscribe, because I don't know what you guys are doing on Tuesdays at whatever time that we end up getting on here. It's like 9. It's typically like 9:15 to 9:30, right? That we typically hop on.
I feel like it gets later and later. I'll be honest.
Fair. But I don't know what y'all are doing. But like we're here. We want to enjoy
There's no other poetry podcast like this one.
None.
Like I know Ashane does like the Versus podcast. Like okay, big deal.
Great. Oh, you guys talking about poems all day, every day. Oh,
yeah,
man.
but you ain't doing this. You ain't got Chat GPT writing you poems.
Exactly.
Cool.
You're not getting all your the moon isn't real conspiracies out the way.
That's a conspiracy?
It's just an agreed upon. I thought
it was established. All right.
We'll find out.
All right. My name's Geoff, guys.
And my name is also Geoff, but you can call me Mathias.
All right. See you guys later.
See ya.
Bye.